Okay, we're here with Bailey, Monty, Bailey, and Mini. And in this video, I'm going to go over how to teach your dog to focus or look up at you on command. Most dogs' focus works against the humans. The dog's focusing on the other dog, the squirrel, the skateboard, the bird, whatever it is, and they're not paying attention to us. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use operant conditioning to get the dog to look you in the face, which has a benefit. These dogs don't need it as much as others, but this is just the way I teach it, is dogs can't produce cortisol, which is a stress hormone. At the same time, they release dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin into their brain. Those are pleasure endorphins. So if a trainer teaches you how to do this, they would hold and lure the treat up here, and that gets the dog to look just like it is here. I'm going to hold these on my knee. And when she looks at me in the face, then I'm going to raise it to my nose, and then I'm going to go straight from my nose to her mouth, and I'm going to say the word focus. So this way, if a dog looks at you in the eyes for longer than 5 seconds, it starts releasing oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin in your brain and the dog's brain, and stops the production of cortisol. So it feels good for you and for the dog. You won't probably notice it, but it's a nice way if your dog's about to hear something, is about to ready to start barking, you say focus, they look back up at you. Dogs only focus on one thing at a time. All right, so when I do this, I hold it between my thumb and forefinger like this, and I'm going to push it against my knee. And I want both my hands to look uniform. So I'm going to be holding like this. I'll kind of show you real quick. Like this. And the dog is, I'm going to have a big wet spot right here because she's going to lick the heck out of my knee. Now, the only thing that will get the treat in her mouth is if she looks at me in the face. Doesn't have to be eye contact. Now watch her like a hawk. And as soon as she gives you eye contact, it might just be an eye dart. You're going to raise it to your nose in 1 second, and then go straight from your nose to her mouth in another second, and you're not going to hold it at your nose. Now she's doing what most dogs do, she's trying to take it. And so this part of this lesson is to communicate that no matter how much you try to take it, you're never going to get it. But as soon as you surrender and look up to the human for some guidance, they will reward you. So instead of teaching the dog to challenge us, it teaches the dog to look up at us. And every dog is unique. I've had dogs get this within 1 or 2 seconds. I've had dogs take 5 minutes to figure this out. We're hoping focus, that it's not so long for her. And then I reload right away so she knows we're still playing the game. I prefer not to have her jumping up. Focus. I reload. Normally don't do that, but I don't want her on. And I think part of that is because her guardian unintentionally pets the dogs a little bit when they jump up. So that's something to work on. Now, if the dog doesn't get it for a long period of time, you can cheat a little bit. I don't like to do this unless I have to by blowing at them. Focus. And then I reload again. Oh. I thought you were going to get it, but I got it. Nope, you got it. All right. At first, it takes a little bit for them to figure this out, but once they figure it out, it's pretty easy. Focus. Focus. So it's 1 second for each movement, and normally you wouldn't want to have the other dogs nearby. And I would do this to all 3 of your dogs. When I do this, I usually do it with 12 treats in my hand each practice session. Focus. Now she's quasi-objectifying the treat by staring and not looking at me. But she's not trying to do what she was doing before. And I'd like to reward Monty there for SAT, but don't do that during this exercise. Focus. That was a good one. Focus. And she's giving you a lot of little eye darts. It doesn't have to be a full movement towards you, just all this has to be is the eyes towards your face. Focus. This is going to be a good one for her because she's used to demand, all the dogs are kind of used to demanding things. Focus. Now at first it's 1 second for each movement, but eventually it's going to be like this. Focus. That's a little bit shorter, but you usually want to go at about 15 seconds. Now, I'm going to explain kind of how to do this. We'll do a couple more while I'm explaining. Well, one last thing, a lot of things that people do that are a mistake is they go like this. Don't go straight to her nose. That'll make her look at your knee. The other thing that a lot of people do is they'll hold it at their nose like this. Focus. Don't hold it at your nose. Just transition it at your nose. So what I want to do for all 12 treats, 1 second, 1 second. The next time I do it, if the dog at this point should be looking at you in the face pretty easily, 1 second, 2 seconds, focus. Then for all 12 treats. Next time, 3 seconds from your nose only. That's raising at your nose is always only 1 second. And within a week, you want the dog to be able to look at you, maintain a stare at you for up to 15 seconds. In the house, with no distractions and without the other dogs nearby. The next stage is you would go practice in your backyard. Preferably when there are no construction or no neighbors or no other dogs, the easiest version possible, because now it's more difficult because of our setting. Now we have sights, sounds, and smells of being outside. So we go back to 1 second, 1 second. But this time we can move faster. Maybe we go 1 second for 4 treats, 1 second, 2 seconds for 4 treats, and 1 second, 3 seconds for 4 treats. Within 2 days, you want to be up to 15-second focus outside. The last stage is to do it when you're on a walk. Now, when you're on a walk, what you want to do is when the dog is walking next to you, you're going to go 1 second, 1 second, and you're just going to say focus, and it looks up at you and go, boom. You're going to say focus at this point on the walk because they're not going to look at you. They're going to be looking at everything else on the walk. Now we're cueing it with an auditory cue. That's why we practice a lot in easy settings without a lot of distractions. So it looks up at you, go 1 second, 1 second. As you're walking, don't stop while you're walking. And I would do this with one dog at a time. And then eventually you would go 1 second, 2 seconds on the way down and get way back up to 15 seconds. We do this a lot with dogs that are reactive or bark or aggressive towards other dogs. When we're approaching another dog, dogs front-facing are confrontational. And the sidewalks kind of create front-facing approaches. Dogs, if I wanted to meet you, another dog, and I'm a dog and the camera's a dog, I would take a rounded approach and approach the camera from the side, or the dog from the side. So if I walk down the sidewalk, dogs are like, you're leading me right to this other dog. So if your dog gets stiff or holds his breath or pulls on leash, you say focus so it looks up at you, and you can get this 15-second focus, and as the person's walking by, you deliver the treat, the dog's like, okay, I'm gonna bark at that person, oh, they're gone. And so you get them out of trouble before they get in trouble. You can also use this if your dog's not paying attention to you. I have a dog I'm training as a service dog. We're in a grocery store somewhere practicing a stay, and I'm ready to give him the signal, and he's kind of farting around. I say, focus. He looks up at me, and I say, stay, and I give him the command and walk away. I was at this grocery store, and this woman was like, Helen, did you see that? He told his dog to pay attention to you, focused. I didn't say pay attention, I said focus. It just means look at me in the face. But this, because of the way that I teach this, like I said, if the dog voluntarily looks at you in the face, because you're holding the treats here, here's the wet spot, but then the dog is actually stopping the production of cortisol, and it releases the pleasure endorphins, and this motivates the dog to want to do this. Let's do one more, sweetheart. Let's do a good one for the road. Focus. This is how you can teach your dog to focus.